I just learned some extremely disturbing news regarding Zohran Mamdani, and I think you might want to hear this. So listen, I realize I have crazy eyes right now because I'm reading this going, oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to start here. You know Zohran Mamdani. It's not a name you have not heard before. He is the elected mayor for New York City who will be taken over on January 1st, 2026, right? I need you guys to hear this video. It's going to be really hard to hear. I just realized that because there's like all this background noise. We're going to try this and I'm going to let you listen to this. And then I'm going to explain to you WTF because y'all, okay, listen, let's see if we can get this.
And one of the things that we've said beyond saying that we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work. And in this moment especially, if we want to fight the Trump administration, we have to do so by fully funding our own services, taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and corporations here. And one of the things that
look, hold on. Okay, so in this video, he says that New York City is going to be a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus and workers or their workers, whatever. And that he is going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs. And then they're going to provide 65 million taxpayer dollars towards gender affirming care since President Trump has taken federal money away from that mental illness nonsense, right? So he's saying that he's going to take the taxpayer dollars, if you're in New York City, your money to change, a taco to a sausage or vice versa. He's going to take that kind of stuff and make that feasible in New York City. So then I was curious. I was like, but wait, honey boo boo, aren't you a practicing Muslim? Because should that not be something that would be completely frowned upon in the way that they look at Allah and the changing of your body and stuff like that? Because that should in theory go against every aspect of his faith, right? So I was like, is he a practicing Muslim? Because I feel like that's something important to talk about. We keep talking about being Muslim or the Islamic faith and all these different things that are just kind of taking over the United States like a weed that hasn't been pulled out yet. And I was like, okay, well, maybe he's not practicing. And so he can get away with, going to the gay bars and talking about transgender care and doing all these different things that generally speaking would get you beheaded or stoned or your hand cut off or whatever in the actual either Islamic faith or even Muslim faith, depending on how severe the faith is or you are as the person, right? But it says he identifies as a Shia Muslim, Shia Muslim, specifically a practicing 12er Shia, whatever that means, from the CAUGHT community. And he's discussed how his faith shapes his worldview and political view and stuff like that, right? And so I was kind of curious. I said, is being transgender allowed as a Shia Muslim? Because maybe there's something that we don't know. And sure as shit, the short answer is, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Now, if you're a woman, you can't show your head or your hair or whatever, and you can't do certain things because they'll stone you and whatever else. But as a person, you can be transgender and it's perfectly fine in that part of the faith. I'm very confused there. So it says in mainstream 12er Shia Islam, the branch that Zohran Mamdani belongs to, being transgender is not considered permissible if it involves permanently changing the body Allah created, like gender affirming surgery on healthy organs. However, it's the word however that had me go, are you kidding me right now? However, there is a major exception in Iran. Interestingly enough, the largest Shia country where gender confirming surgery for people diagnosed with gender dysphoria has been legally and religiously permitted since 1987 and is still supported by most senior Iranian Shia clerics today. What? But what's crazy is cross-dressing or presenting as the opposite gender without surgery is forbidden, and it can get you in serious trouble. Hormone therapy was forbidden unless, of course, you're told you have body dysphoria, and then the surgery also prohibited unless you convince somebody to tell everybody that no, they have body dysphoria. So not only do you have Zohran Mamdani moving into New York City and pushing out the wealthy, because they're not going to stay there once he decides that, he wants to tax everybody but the lower class, or however it is he's trying to do it. He has to get Hochul on board first, who probably not going to happen, but she is up for re-election soon, and she might be weighing her options here. Like the people that Mamdani can move in once the people with the money move out, he can move all his little Islamic Muslim friends in and start a whole new compound, kind of like we talked about yesterday in Texas with the Epic compound, or Epic whatever they called it. I don't remember exactly what they called it, but Epic something or other, where it was a whole entire Islamic community, right? Dearborn, Michigan, if you will. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, so he is for LGBTQ plus, IA plus, whatever. He wants all of the people with money out, technically, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be trying to tax them all to piss them off to make them leave. It's just a very interesting thought on what New York City is going to turn into. I mean, New York City has always been eclectic as all get out. I mean, you've had drag queens in there, all the Broadway shows, you have homeless people, you have every nationality under the sun almost, every size and shape and whatever else. But with the way that Mamdani wants to run this place, it is going to turn into the weirdest circus you have ever seen in your entire life. Then on top of that, there is this interview, where he's talking about needing more money. We talked about this the day after he was elected. I'm going to keep doing this because I'm pretty sure he stole that shit. He went from a 1% chance to just walking away with it. Okay. So after he was elected as mayor, he came out and was like, hey, I need some more money in order to, get the team together to transition, which is a really interesting word at this point, to transition from running for mayor to being mayor. Once he is a mayor, the city pays for his staff and the city pays for everything, which who knows how much he's going to charge the city for everything he's doing. But until then, he relies on the people who voted for him, the ones who need the money, because that's why they voted for him, because they wanted free stuff, to give him money. He has come out with a second video asking these people for money. And I want you to hear it because you cannot make this up. This man is absolute dog shit. Listen.
It's been 2 weeks since we won the election.
One.
Pretty busy.
Rejects the Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani.
Too often, this is a time of just celebration as opposed to preparation.
Listen.
We want to make it both. A lot of these things are new, but one of them is pretty old. Fundraising. But why are we fundraising? Well, we have less than 50 days until we take office, and we have a lot to do. We have to vet the 50,000 resumes we've received. Thank you. We have to keep paying our
so cheesy.
Thank you.
So cheesy.
And we have to plan not just our inauguration, but our policy implementation.
Listen.
Now, unlike the campaign, transitions do not get public matching funds from the city. So that 8-to-1 match, gone. It's up to us to raise the money. Mm-hmm. Usually campaigns take that as an opportunity to rely on wealthy donors, but that's not us.
They don't like him.
Incredible. We've raised more than $1 million in just 2 weeks. Our average donation is around $77.
Absolutely
more
ridiculous.
Than 12,000 of you have donated so far.
12,000 morons.
Which is much lower than the last administration's transition. But we're still asking for your help.
Did you hear that? Much lower than the last administration's transition. He literally just spit in the face of the people who took their hard-earned $77 and donated it to his dumbass, instead of being thankful and grateful for the fact that there are 12,707 morons out there. He spit in their face instead of saying thank you. He's like, well, that's less than you gave the last one, Eric Adams, right? Then he's asking for more. Hold on, there's more, wait.
We need to raise $4 million in total. So January 1st can be the day we start to deliver, not start to prepare. I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money. But until then, I'm asking for you to go to transition2025.com and give whatever you can to help build a New York that everyone can afford. This is your city, and I can't wait to get to work.
Help with a New York that everyone can afford. Here's the thing. If you can't afford to live there, you shouldn't be there. That makes absolutely no fucking sense to say that people need to give him $4 million so that everybody can afford to live in New York. 1 + 1 does still equal 2, right? I haven't missed anything, although there's this stupid meme going around that says 1 + 1 = 11, and then they do like this little heart. These are the same people that voted for Mamdani. So He has crapped on the people who have already given him $77 each, and is telling them that he needs $3 million and $3.75 million more. So they need to do better. And he needs more people to give him money than gave Eric Adams, because it doesn't look good for him that more people gave Eric Adams money during his transition time. And it's not that he actually needs the money to do anything. It's just that he wants the money so that $4 million in 50 days. I mean, Kamala did go through 1.2 billion in how many days? 100 and something days? 102 days. So I guess, at least it's only 4 million that he's asking for. But either way, that man is the oiliest, is that a word? Snake salesman, car salesman, whatever you want to call it, person I have ever seen. Absolutely crazy to me, where he is asking these people for all of this money. Then you have the police commissioner. She took her position last September, October, November of 2024, I believe. And her name is Jessica Tisch, okay? And she decided on Wednesday, today is Wednesday, happy hump day, my dudes. She decided today that she is going to remain in her post. She's not gonna leave, like the fire chief said, deuces, I'm out when Mamdani takes effect. I'm not staying here for this. She has said that she's gonna stay. And she says here, this is her quote. I want to give you this quote from her. She said, hold on, let me find it because I don't want to mess it up. She said, now, do the mayor-elect and I agree on everything? No, we don't. But in speaking with him, it's clear that we share broad and crucial priorities. The importance of public safety, the need to continue driving down crime, and the need to maintain stability and order across the department. She says, we also agree that you deserve the city's respect and support. So she's batshit as well, because at what point in time has Mamdani given anybody even the iota of a clue that he could give two shits about the safety of the people in New York City? When you spend a decade talking about defund the police, when you make little stupid ass rap songs about it and everything else before you decided to, suit up and boot up and become the mayor of New York City, you talked about defunding the police. Now, even as the mayor-elect and during the entire election process, it was about how the police did not need to be there for domestic violence calls. The police don't need to be doing this. The police don't need to go to that the jails don't need to have these people in them because everybody deserves a second chance, and that, calling people criminals is bad and it hurts their feelings. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants New York City to basically be a lawless shithole. And this woman has just said that basically she agrees with him, and then lied out of her mouth about what they agree on. Driving down crime. Continue driving down crime. Hello? Maintain stability and order across the department. Hello? Am I the only one who doesn't... I don't... Listen. It's not that difficult to literally take... you don't have to take a whole step back, honey boo-boo. Just take half a step back and look at what Mamdani is trying to promise people. Look what he's asking for, and look what he has said for you to go, maybe this is not such a good idea. Maybe we have been bamboozled here. And even then, you haven't been bamboozled. The people that voted for him are just dumber than dog shit, because it's not hard to see that you don't want somebody who thinks that the Holy Land Five are great guys and that agrees that police shouldn't have anything to do with domestic violence disputes, and then got his fundraising money or his campaign money from the same people that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas just declared terrorists, the CAIR, the Center of American Islamic Relations. I think that's exactly what it is. That feels accurate. Too many words in my head. You cannot tell me that people literally look at this man and go, seems like a good guy. But wait. Y'all, there's more. The same man who believes that you should be able to take from the rich to give to the poor, basically wanting to be a Robin Hood, but not really the way Robin Hood was intended. Bet you didn't know this. Well, you might have known this, but I'm going to give you a little more information on good old Mamdani back here. His net worth. I was just curious what his net worth is, right? Because we've seen what's happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who went in to her position in, I think it's Georgia District 14, as a representative there with a couple $100,000, and now she's worth 23 million. And you want to tell me there's not some insider trading going on there? Okay. But according to this, he's only worth around $200,000. And you think to yourself, oh, maybe he is one of the good ones who isn't, embezzling or taking bribes or taking money or whatever else. And maybe he knows something about having to work really hard for the things that he has. And then you do a little more research and you realize, no, that ain't it. As my best friend Lindsay says, bruh, that shit ain't it. And this is what's happening. So as of November 2025, which is now, he is worth an estimated net worth of around 200 grand. It says that his salary as a New York State Assembly member is of roughly 142,000. He has 4 acres of land in Jinja, Uganda, which is valued between $150 and $250,000. And then minor royalties from his earlier work as a hip hop artist and music producer. And it says he lives modestly in a rented apartment in Queens. He owns no car or personal real estate in the US and has no significant investments or cash holdings reported in public disclosures. Number one, I'm going to tell you that I don't like how that sounds as the mayor of New York. I feel like he should understand that assets are important and things like that. But anyway, I digress. Now, what I do find interesting is that if you step back and go, for a man who wants to run as a socialist, it would look real stupid if he was living in a $2 million home and driving a Jag or a Bentley or whatever else and just had, all this money chilling in a bank account somewhere. He needs to look the part. Well, being worth around $200,000 definitely makes you look the part, you specifically. But that's not what you came from, you little lying ass mofo. Here's what happened. Zohran Mamdani comes from a family of significant wealth and privilege. Significant wealth and privilege. That's like saying when Barron Trump gets older, going, poor thing, he's only got a penny to his name. You can only see a penny in his bank account. Broski's gonna have billions behind him. So does Zohran Mamdani. There are millions of dollars sitting right behind him, but in order to look like he needs to look for New Yorkers to vote for him in his bank account, he only has a little and he lives modestly in his 1-bedroom apartment in New York City. Listen. Okay, Mira Nair, that's his mother's name. I don't know how to say it with the right flavor to it, so it is what it is. She's an Oscar-nominated Indian-American filmmaker known for films like, and then some names. And then his dad, Mahmoud Mamdani, is a renowned Columbia University professor of anthropology and African studies. They've built successful careers that have provided the family with an estimated combined net worth of $2 to $10 million. That's a big gap, $2 to $10 million. This includes high-profile assets like a $2 million home in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood owned by the mother, royalties from her films and production company, and then his dad, his salary is roughly $300,000 a year, and then they have properties with an S on the end in Uganda. Now, what's interesting to me is that he also did not have to pay for his college. Because I said, did Zohran Mamdani have to pay for any of his college? And I expected it to come back and say, oh no, he had scholarships or whatever else. No, it literally says he did not have to pay for his college education at Bowdoin College, where he earned a BA in Africana Studies in 2014. As the son of affluent parents, estimated net worth, holy. So the first one was wrong. Estimated net worth is 50 million to 65 million as a combination. The first one was talking about the dad only. You son of a bitch. Listen, his parents paid his tuition of $60,000 a year where he went to college. He didn't pay for anything. So they are sitting on a massive sum of money. And he has to play the poor beggar part in order to look a certain way to the dumbasses that voted for him. Here's my question. Your parents are worth so much. If you really are who you say you are and really want what you say you want, and, let me just mimic like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and everybody else who are talking about all these millionaires and billionaires should be taxed like crazy. Is he about to tax the shit out of his parents? They live in Manhattan. Is he going to clump them into that tax the rich to feed the poor? Why doesn't he just take the money that he needs, the $4 million that he needs, and go, Mom, Dad, hi, can I have $4 million for my transition team? Why didn't he just ask them? Why is he asking the same people that he claimed to want to be mayor for to help being the middle class? I have questions. Things like this don't make sense to me. And it is a little bit of some bitch assness, if you ask me, for him to sit up there like he understands the struggles of the people who have low income or dealing with high rent prices or, bus fare or grocery prices when that man has no clue what it really takes because he has grown up with a silver spoon in his butt and his mouth all at once. Listen, it is ridiculous. For his elementary school, they paid $50,000 a year for his elementary school because it was a private school. And then his high school, he went to Bronx High School of Science, which was a free tuition free, it was public funding. And then his college, between $55,000 to $60,000 a year for 4 years that his family also paid for. You know what I could not do right now if somebody held a gun to my head to do it? Afford that shit? Like, that to me is not normal, right? But it's just like chump change for mom and dad. But Zohran Mamdani acts like he grew up with nothing and he has nothing and he has nothing to fall back on. So he really understands the plight of New Yorkers. That's some bullshit. Right there is what that is. But wait, unfortunately, there is more. So let me get to my little thing here. So according to this, Mamdani is petrified over Tom Homan and ICE surging into his city. This is what he says. He says people are living in fear, but what he really means, he's afraid New Yorkers will see him for how weak he really is. I want you to hear this little clip.
Well, what I've shared with
the day after Tom Homan
stop.
The announcement is coming a day after Tom Homan said in an interview that ICE is going to be back in New York City, that agents are going to be conducting operations and raids. Did you talk to the police commissioner about that fact that she was
that lady we just talked about?
That one in Lower Manhattan a couple weeks ago. And if that were to happen again, if she were tipped off, how would you want her to respond?
Well, what I've shared with the commissioner, and I would also shared publicly, is the fact that we can never go back to the days where Eric Adams would go on national television and open the door to the NYPD handling civil immigration enforcement. That can never even be entertained. The other day, I was speaking with a New Yorker who broke into tears as she told me about her aunt who had been visited by ICE at their home, at the school, at so many places of how she engaged with the world around her as a New Yorker. People are living in fear. And what we will ensure is the NYPD will be delivering public safety, not assisting ICE in their attempts to fulfill the administration's goal of creating the single largest deportation force in American history.
Okay, here's what's interesting to me. Yesterday, if you were here for it, we talked about the fact that he said that he believes New York City is a place of international law, that he'll follow the laws of the internationals, right? Like he's going to do, if Netanyahu shows up in New York City, he's going to arrest him and send him back because international law, somebody's got like a thing out for his arrest or something like that. But he's not going to follow the laws of the United States of America. When the president tells you that you must work hand in hand with ICE officials to go after the illegal immigrants in the country, and he says, I'm going to tell our police officers, no, we're not doing that. And he's going to say no to President Trump, we're not doing that. Does that not, how do people not see what is happening here? I don't like that man at all. It's like not in the least. Then here's a better one. We talked about her yesterday as well. I mentioned her name. New York City socialist Zohran Mamdani just endorsed his hand-picked replacement for the New York State Assembly, and it's wild. Her name is Aber Kawa. She moved to the U.S. last year. She holds a master's degree in Islamic liberation theology, and she's a hardcore Palestinian activist. So the guy who wants to defund the police and once called to globalize the intifada is now trying to install a fresh off the plane activist with a degree in anti-Western ideology into New York's legislature. This isn't immigration, it's infiltration. Remember how we talked about Mamdani cannot raise the taxes on New Yorkers or New York Cityers the way he says. He has no right or ability as the mayor to go through and go, you make this much, tax you. You make this little, no taxes for you. He can't do that. The only thing he as mayor can do is raise property taxes across the board. What he needs in order to raise taxes for people is for the New York legislature to agree to it or for the governor to agree to it. And if he can start infiltrating the legislature with these people, let me show you her face in case you haven't seen her. She looks lovely. She's lovely. I'm not going to deny that. And that face right there will open doors for her because it's just the way it works. Pretty faces open doors. That's the whole reason why, what's her face? Hello, brain. Brain, do your job. My job has forgotten how to be done. Jasmine Crockett's not pretty. AOC, that's who I was trying to think of. AOC, the only reason that AOC has the position that she has is because of her face and some other things that she has that are close to her face that catch the attention of the males in government and wherever else. This girl has a chance because she is attractive, right? But here's the thing. If she gets in, then another one gets in and another one gets in. And like I said before, and it's not nice of me, and I'm fully aware of that, bad Michelle, but it's like a plague. It starts and then it just spreads out like that zombie bite we talked about. You got to cut your arm off. You get bit by a zombie here, chop that sucker off. Keep it from entering the rest of your body. Don't let her in. Then guess what? The legislature might stay safe, right? But either way, you have that. Then on top of that, because it's never just the one thing, unfortunately, we already talked about that. Hold on. Mamdani wants to replace the Elizabeth Street Garden into low-income housing. If you live in New York, you know what this is. This is the Elizabeth Street Garden. This was up for contention, or was a point of contention when Eric Adams was mayor. And Eric Adams was like, all right, listen, I'm not going to bulldoze it. We'll let it stay. The city rents it basically from the building that's next to it, leased it out to the city. I'm trying to remember everything. Leased it out to the city. It became this massive part of the city that people love to go hang out. It's near Soho and Greenwich and whatever else. And they absolutely love it. Well, Zoran says that he wants to cancel the contract. Eric Adams made it into a park. Okay. He tried to save it after Mamdani mentioned that he was going to basically bulldoze it. So Eric Adams turned it into a park, like a state park. Mamdani may not have the ability himself as mayor to undo the state park, but I feel like maybe he does, since Eric Adams had the ability to turn it into a state park. But if he does have that ability, he wants to bulldoze it and put in low-income housing, because he expects only low-income people to remain in New York City once he has run out everybody with money. He would like to turn this gorgeous park area into the slums, is what it's going to be, because all the money is going to leave New York City, and all you're going to be left with is low-income housing. Oh, I know I have a tendency to go a little crazy, and it's not on purpose. It's just there's so much going on, and New York City is just one place, obviously, but it's how do we not see everything that's happening? We're not even going to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that's going on right now. If you want to bring up Hakeem Jeffries, you want to bring up Jasmine Crockett and how dumb she is. You want to bring up the fact that all these victims keep coming forward, but they refuse to say anybody's names. You want to bring up the videos or the pictures of Epstein and people saying he had a really weird penis, like the shape of a lemon. I don't really know what that is. That's a little TMI, honestly. But there's so much going on right this second. This one here, just, I could not even. So look, I'm not even going to play this. Stop. You're so loud. I'm like a scared cat there. I don't know. I didn't expect it to get that loud. This is Mamdani giving out plates of food to, they said homeless people, but this looks like people who don't want to be recognized on TV, if you ask me. So he just happens to be there. And they're like, oh, but look, he doesn't have a stage. He didn't make a speech. It was just, the mayor-elect wanting to go in and do something good. No podium, no speech, just a mayor in gloves handing out plates to New Yorkers who needed one. There are 75 motherfucking people standing there with cameras that are from news outlets and social media outlets taking his picture. And there are 4 people that he is handing a plate of food to. 4 homeless people, room full of people with cameras. And you want to tell me that this is not a, no, I got nothing, y'all. I have absolutely nothing on what the right word is here. Doesn't matter, because y'all know. You're probably screaming it at the TV. I love you for it. I wish I could hear you. I really do. Whatever that is, that's what he's doing. A ploy, a plot, a whatever. Anyway, that's what he's doing. So then, y'all, there's one more, and then I'm going to let you go. But where'd it go? Nope, that's in Dearborn. We're going to do that tomorrow, because that's a whole shit show in and of itself. Where is the one? Wait, go nowhere. I love you so much. Remember yesterday we talked about Governor Greg Abbott in Texas? Yeah, we're leaving Mamdani, by the way. We've scooted over a little bit to the west. Greg Abbott, he put in that he was going to make the group that funded Mamdani, basically, he was going to call them as terrorists and say they couldn't buy land in Texas because they've been trying to buy up all the land in Texas so they can make their own little Islamic compounds and turn it into Sharia and whatever else. So Glenn Beck posted this earlier. He says, breaking exclusive statement from Greg Abbott provided to the Glenn Beck program on CAIR, which is the people, and Muslim Brotherhood crackdown in Texas. And this is what it says. It has come to my attention that certain entities in Texas, including in Collin and Dallas counties, may be masquerading as legal courts staffed with judges issuing orders that purportedly carry the authority to bind individuals to Islamic codes, thereby preempting state and federal laws. Now, before I read the rest, remember we talked about this. I told you in Irving, I kept saying Irvine yesterday, I'm sorry. In Irving, Texas, there are 2 Sharia courts which are not constitutional and are not legal. And you can say all day long that there's no Sharia allowed, or Sharia law, however you want to call it, allowed in Texas. But since when do these people follow the laws? Right? So Governor Greg Abbott knows about these courts and knows that this is happening. Okay, here's the rest. He says the Constitution's religious protections provide no authority for religious courts to skirt state and federal laws simply by donning robes and pronouncing positions inconsistent with Western civilization. I urge you, therefore, to investigate efforts by entities purporting to illegally enforce Sharia law in Texas. Legal disputes in Texas must be decided based on American law rooted in the fundamental principles of American due process, not according to Sharia law dispensed in modern day star chambers. Again, until somebody steps up and puts their foot on somebody's neck, it's not going to happen. They're going to keep doing the things that they are doing because they can. You know why? Let me explain why. And stay with me on this one. I'm just going to close this thing up because we need to have this conversation. Here's why it will be allowed to continue. Because just like they're letting men dressed as women into the women's restroom because they don't want to look a certain type of way, they don't want to get reprimanded, they don't want to get in trouble, they don't want the 1% to turn on them, they just let it happen. This is going to continue to happen. Dearborn, Michigan, all the places in Texas already that are being taken over by Islamic everything in this world that's being taken over by Islamic, and nobody is stopping it. It's because they're petrified of what happens when they try to extinguish it. They don't know what will happen because we have been infiltrated so hard and in so many places that you don't really realize what kind of, I guess sleeper cell is the right word, little terrorist groups there are. Like, you don't know how many there are. You don't know how many of them can just rise up. It was in Dearborn, which we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but we'll just do a little bit now. In Dearborn, I don't know if you guys remember it. I think it was on Halloween where the FBI raided a home because two of the Islamic dudes there had like an entire house full of weapons, and they were planning on having this massive mass casualty event, shooting something up and bombing things and whatever else. But it was found out and it was stopped ahead of time. But when we see these little neighborhoods like Epic, we talked about yesterday, I'll try to remember to put that video at the end of this one if you want to watch it. When you see little neighborhoods like that, you think to yourself, oh, look at this neighborhood where all these Islamic people live and they're practicing their own whatever. It's also like their own little military. You have to think about these things. They have these small little compounds all over the place where they can basically rise up anytime they want and whoosh. And I've called Trojan horse on so many things, and that's what this is. It is a massive Trojan horse, but there's so many, like little baby Trojan horses everywhere. And the people in charge are they're pussies. That's the nicest way I know how to say it. I'm sorry. But they are afraid to do what's right for this country. They'll talk all day long and they'll, I'm going to sign this into legislature and sign this into law. Who gives a shit? It's a piece of paper. Just like a restraining order. You write a restraining order against somebody, it's a piece of paper. It will not stop them from doing harm to somebody else. This little thing of, I'm not going to sell land to them. Loopholes everywhere. People willing to buy the land and hand it to them. Like, there's all these things. You need diligent, like ICE. You need somebody diligently out there going, no, 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 putting a stop to it, taking away the land, taking away the rights, whatever. I feel batshit when I talk about this stuff because it's like, how does the left not see what is happening? Or is it that they do, but they're too chicken shit to speak up? I don't get it. I don't understand it. How you can look at Mamdani and go, New York City is going to be great. Hello? Or how you can look at all these mosques that have been popping up all over the place and they're not even using them. They're still praying in the streets instead. That's like a bull with the red thingy, right? They are the red thing, just asking you to charge. Like, come on. They are goading us. And instead of doing anything, the bull just turns around and goes and takes a damn nap. What are we doing here? We have got to sack up as the United States of America and put our foot down and say, this is our country, we will not abide by this. All right. Viva la resistance. Is that how it goes? Is that what you're supposed to say? Long live the resistance? Because I feel like we're the resistance now. I feel like that's correct. I don't know. I don't speak French. Anyway, listen, y'all. I love you immensely. Side note, it is November 19th. Y'all have, math is not my strong suit, so we're not even going to attempt it until December 7th before the annual open enrollment of Medicare goes kaput and you are stuck with whatever plan you happen to have starting January 1st. And it could be absolutely awful for you with everything that's going into changes, with everything that's happened with the healthcare industry in general over the last couple months and all the changes going into effect January 1st. I beg of you, I don't care who you call. If you call the Medicare office, if you call your own broker, I suggest you call Chapter. I trust them. I love them. Most of y'all have said how absolutely amazing they are. I think some people just haven't given much feedback, but I know you guys have called and been helped by Chapter. They help you figure out if you're on the right plan. They help you figure out if there's a better plan for you based off of where you live, what medicines you may need, what kind of doctors you may need, what you're going through right now. And it's a free phone call for you. It takes a little bit of time because it's a lot of legwork, right? To make sure that you're going to be covered January 1st, make sure nothing's changing within your current Medicare setup or packages. So make sure you give somebody a call. Like I said, I prefer Chapter. 513-898-3528 is the phone number. It is also going to be in the pinned comment of this video if you can't remember it, because I do talk really fast. It'll be there if you guys want to check it out. There's also a website you can go to if you'd prefer that, askchapter.org/tribe. Sometimes that's easier for some people. But either way, during annual open enrollment period, just make the phone call. It's a free call. It's a couple minutes or more, depending on how much work or help you may need. It's worth it, I promise you, just to make sure that you are not going to get bent over January 1st and be like, oh, probably should have, taken that one little step to ensure that my health coverage isn't going to go to shit in a month or two, right? Anyway, that's that. Besides that, comments below. I want to know your thoughts. I love our discussions back and forth. So make sure you comment below. I'm going to finish this one glass of wine that takes me an hour to drink because I'm not that adult yet, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying, but whatever. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow for a very important discussion that we need to have about Michigan and other places and what's going on. I don't even know how to explain it. I'll attempt it tomorrow, though. I love y'all immensely. Goodbye.